As a very young man, you wrote a book that sold 1 million copies.
Yeah, it was called I Kissed Dating Goodbye, and that got a lot of attention because it was a radical idea. We shouldn't just not have sex, we should stop dating because dating is leading to us making these mistakes.
So the first time you kissed your wife was?
At the altar, yeah. I got married about 1.5 years after that book was released, and then dove into being a pastor and pastored a church for 17 years. I was a pastor there.
And then this summer you went on Instagram and said essentially, I don't believe. By all the measurements that I have for defining a Christian, I'm not a Christian. What do you mean by that?
I was really just trying to be honest about the fact that all the ways that I had defined faith and Christianity, that I was no longer choosing to live according to those. Most significantly, the decision that my wife and I made to end our marriage.
Some people were angry.
A lot of people were angry, understandably.
Why understandably?
Because I was a leader and a spokesman, and I called people to live in very particular ways, to sacrifice in very particular ways. And so for me to change in my thinking feels like a betrayal to them. You know, Mike, as a pastor, I excommunicated people. If you're not living according to the teaching of the Bible and you're living in unrepentant sin, then you have to be put out of the church. And I think I came to a point of recognizing, you know what, I'm not living according to this. And I held other people to this standard, and, you know, I excommunicated myself, essentially.
And for people who aren't in the church, when you talk about excommunicating, like what's some examples of the offenses that might lead to that?
Getting an unbiblical divorce, living in any form of unrepentant sin. Oftentimes that's related to sexuality.
So an affair.
An affair, living a gay lifestyle. Anyone in the LGBTQ community would have fallen into that if they weren't actively trying to overcome those inclinations.
I know people who think that you messed up their life, that they're married to the wrong person because of you.
Yeah. You know, I apologized for it. I unpublished the books. I pulled the books off the market, but you can't give people, you know, years of their life.
Do you feel guilty? How do you feel when people say you caused me great harm?
Well, it was a long process for me. I started seeing that the book really had misled a lot of people.